Alrighty, welcome back to... wow, NieR Replicant. I almost said Replicant Evil, which in some ways could have still been right. Are these the only two other villagers? Okay. Yep, we're gonna dive in and try and get their dreams settled.
This person must be dreaming too.
It would appear that way, yes.
Enter this villager's dream, yes.
Can't say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sort of creeps me out.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission.
Yeah.
Going into the dream world. Text adventure time. I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is tucked beneath a staircase in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that plays without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes. An eternity slips by in a single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Anyone there? I hear an unfamiliar voice say. My savior. I call out the door of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me, I cry. For the love of all the gods, help me. Impossibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired boy in a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I am forced to turn away. Who are you? I ask, shaking hands covering my face. How have you come to this place? I am Grimoire Weiss, and this is GaLm. Long have we been searching for you. Now, come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as GaLm extends his hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are as keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. I never thought to hear that again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Grimoire Weiss. Look at your feet. I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my ankles and lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. Yes, and more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make good our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant. So they're rescuing this lady from some kind of fucking creepy-ass infinite castle. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. And there's a little bit of a delay. Oh. I actually had to choose it and proceed north. At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. All are covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come upon a shapeless mass of gray matter. It has been shoved against the side of the door, and despite my fever, I think I see the outlines of a door just behind. When I reach out a finger and touch a piece of the mess, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds, and back again until the horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know. Insanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound, whether scream or laughter I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. I squint down the dim corridors, and we'll proceed east. And then west, east, and then north, and then north again. At the end of the path, the waters rise to my waist, exhausting me physically and spiritually. I pray that this is the way out. Eventually, I can stand the sight of the waters no longer, and so turn my eyes upwards. Imagine my surprise when I see a series of paintings hanging on the faded plaster wall. Each depicts a person in the prime of life, clad in clothing of the highest quality. The styles, however, are strange to me. leading me to believe that these people had lived long, long ago. One subject wears an outfit that particularly catches my eye. It is constructed of a thin, breezy cloth and decorated with a motif of flowers and birds, while encircling the figure's waist is a leather belt of the most perfect construction. It is a stunning costume, even by modern standards. As I gaze at the portrait, I am struck by a desire to touch it with my own hands. Yet as I extend a single finger to the painting, I am gripped by a most unpleasant feeling. Staring closely at the image, I see it bend and warp into the shape of another finger. Something behind the picture is pointing at me. Is it another prisoner? A fellow inmate, trapped for eternity in this place? I cannot let it pass. And so, I seize the portrait with both hands and throw it into the water. The wall is hollow behind the painting, and inside I can just make out a body. Whether or not this is a prisoner, there would be no rescue. The poor soul is long dead. Scraps of clothing lie on the floor around the bones. Only a small amount of the fabric has survived, but it features the same delicate designs that were depicted in the portrait. I have been admiring a row of corpses, blocked from view by portraits of each victim at their pinnacle. Jesus. Well, let's not mess with any more portraits. Enough. Shielding my eyes, I paddle forward through the water. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed south. Okay, so we just went south. Let's try west. At the end of the path, a row of heavy wooden casks lie on the sides in a dark chamber. Doubtless they are filled with wine. My thirst roars to life. I cannot remember the last time my parched throat had relief. I scramble to the first cask and pull frantically at the cork. The theft of a few cups means nothing, I tell myself. The cask will be ruined by the flood regardless. Finally, the cork surrenders to my attack, and thick red liquid bursts forth from the hole. This is no wine. It is blood still warm from the body. Whether the animal or something else I cannot say. The foul liquid soon mixes with the rising floodwaters, creating a warmth that laps against my thighs. By all the gods, are the rest of these casks filled with blood as well? I lack the courage to confirm my suspicion. Disgust quickly becomes fear as I turn to flee. But my weakened legs betray me, sending me toppling over into the red ocean below. The smell of death is everywhere. It threatens to consume me. I must escape this hell. Crawling on all fours like an animal, holding back screams lest any foulness enter my mouth, I lurch forward through the red waters and out of the room to freedom. I squint down the dim corridors and we head east. The water has risen to my chin and now laps greedily at my mouth and nose. "You dumb bastard!" shouts GaLm. He surely desires to say more, but the rest of his insult is cut short by the rising water. Grimoire Weiss, wet and tattered, floats on the water's surface. It is already too late for him. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. Oh shit, we're dead. Whoa. Okay. Wow. I guess we get to try that again and try to find a correct path. My god. Okay. The death dream truly was deadly.
It would appear.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Alright, let's try this again. So there's a corridor. If we go east and then north and then west from there, at the end of the path, the row of heavy cast lies in the dark chamber. Doubtless they're filled with wine. Nope, none of these. Alright, we're gonna head west then. Fuck, it's a dead end again. Oh my god, we're dead again. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. We're truly in, like, text adventure mode now. I find myself in a great hall with only the sounds of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rests china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing movement, I approach the chair at the table's head, but as the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, and as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in their remains, and this is the movement I saw. This once splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands, then slowly back away from the table, desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me. My gaze lands on the chairs upon which dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs prove to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat, up the back, and down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. For if not, it is a simple task to envision the agonized screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. My mind grasped frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was the punishment. Though in truth, I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. Let's proceed north from here. Against all hope, we make it to the front door. "Break it down!" someone cries, and so I gave myself to the effort. In tandem with GaLm and Grimoire Weiss, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way, and we find ourselves sprawled on the ground outside the castle. The storm is in retreat. The clouds are still dark and foreboding, but to the west I can see the thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. "How can I thank you?" I cry as tears join the rains on my cheeks. I would have surely died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters, and sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. "Your dress?" asked Weiss. "Then you are a woman, madame." "I am." I proffer the two a smile. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing as how I only exist in the form of words. I can see that the one known as GaLm is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description, but he hides it well. With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth to our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, uncountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new life as shades. Oh, jeez.
You have anything to say about that?
Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time.
I hear that.
Thank you so much for saving me. I never want to have a dream like that again.
Yeah, try... I don't know. I think you need to live a happier life or something. You need to get out of the forest of myths. Go to the seafront. Go fishing. Because that was fucked up. The amount of corpses inside of her dream were a little much. What about you, buddy? Let's see.
Another victim. This work certainly is trying.
Let's see if we can save him.
I figured a book like you would be into all this word stuff, Weiss.
Even I have my exceptions. Now let's be off.
I wonder if he's gonna have a labyrinth of doom. A colony of massive sculptures was visible in the distance, their tall forms scraping against the sky. Weiss and GaLm had never seen such a sight, and their eyes widened as they tried to take it in.
Those buildings must be huge if we can see them from this far away. What do you think, Weiss?
As Weiss considered his answer, the sun beat down on them with a renewed ferocity.
They are some manner of mirage.
Under this heat, a mirage or two would hardly be an unexpected sight. GaLm nodded and wiped the sweat off his brow, leaving a trail of sand in its place. He thought he'd never been so thirsty. The ancient road on which they walked was black and cracked with age. Here and there, thin wisps of grass pushed up through the rocky surface, as if defying those who had laid this material down over their home. The heat reflecting from the road made GaLm lightheaded. His feet hurt. He crouched down to rest. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Is someone playing a joke on us or what? The complaining had already begun. Weiss tried not to let his eyes roll too much. A joke, he said. No joke. This road leads to the city of art. Perhaps the path itself is simply some manner of grand artistic work. You don't sound very sure of yourself there. Perhaps not, but thinking of it in this way might make it easier for you to bear. GaLm glanced at Weiss's grinning face, shook his head, and resumed walking. As time passed, GaLm's feet grew more painful, and his throat drier than he thought possible. He tried not to look further than the next step ahead, because the bright sunlight made him hesitant to trust his own senses. We are definitely getting closer, said Weiss, in an effort to cheer his companion. Yes, this much is certain. Encouraged, GaLm lifted his gaze. Suddenly he stopped walking, choosing instead to stand in the middle of the road with his mouth and eyes wide open, and his finger pointing in the distance. Water, he cried. It's water! Water? Asked Weiss. Preposterous. I don't see any water. Over there, just ahead of us. Look, the sun is reflecting off of it. Without waiting for a response, GaLm sprang to life and bounded towards the site. What in the... There was no water. There was nothing but sand in every direction. GaLm closed his eyes and sighed as Weiss floated behind him and chuckled softly. I believe this is known as a mirage, he said. Many a desert traveler has spoken of such things. GaLm shook his head, bewildered. Suddenly he pointed off in the distance, his eyes wide once more. Wait, there it is! I just missed it! Look, it's right there! GaLm sprinted off again, leaving Weiss with no choice but to follow. After a few minutes of running, GaLm came to a halt. I could have sworn it was right around here. Confused, he put his hands up to his eyes and rubbed them vigorously. As soon as he stopped, he noticed a blue shimmering pool of clear water just over the next rise. With a shout, he bounded off in search of it. The chase continued for nearly an hour until an exasperated Weiss finally floated up to GaLm and struck him in the face with his cover. Enough, you blithering idiot! Stop this at once! There is no water here! GaLm's face clouded. There isn't? There is not. And perhaps next time you will listen to me when I tell you as much. Weiss paused for a moment, and then continued speaking in a slightly kinder tone. However, I suppose this mad chase was not altogether wasted. It seems we have arrived in the city of Art. GaLm looked up. Stretched out before him was a row of impossibly tall sculptures. Their journey was at an end. They're huge, cried GaLm, completely forgetting the heat and pain of the past few hours. I've never seen anything so big. Each sculpture was formed with roughly the same shape, a tall rectangle that stretched upward towards the sky, but that is where the similarities ended. Most were covered with panes of glass that reflected light in 1,000 directions, while others seemed to be nothing but frames of steel. Some had tall spires on their tops, while others possessed triangular caps. What kind of city is this? Where are the people? Where are the houses? Well, you see, young GaLm, this city, what you're looking at, probably were the houses of people. Well, apartments, condos. Perhaps this land is intended exclusively for artistic use. The debate continued as they made their way through the city. Miracles of artistry were everywhere. Great iron crates with wheels sat silent on steel rails. Beautifully carved works with lights of red, amber, and green dangled over every street. Ah, streetlights. As they moved away from the massive sculptures, they found a great array of smaller ones. Some were covered in glass or brick, but many were composed of material they had never seen before encountered. The sheer variety of colors and styles was staggering. Unable to find a theme or purpose to the abstract works around them, GaLm and Weiss eventually fell silent. On the outskirts of the city, they discovered 3 sculptures in the shapes of humans. GaLm uttered a sigh of relief as he approached them. Finally, I was getting tired of modern art. The 3 statues were indistinguishable except for one single word chiseled into their arms. One read Alpha, one read Beta, and the final one read Gamma. As GaLm moved to touch the nearest statue, a bird flew from the top of one of the sculptures. Alighting on the statue's shoulder emitted a brief, beautiful song that took the form of words. Only one form is real. The others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. The false ones will only speak lies. With that, the bird departed. As if on cue, the 3 statues shuddered to life, acquiring color and form as they began to breathe. Hey, look at that! They're alive! The triplets bowed low before GaLm. Please, said Alpha. You have to get me out of this nightmare. I am real. Stop lying, said Beta. He turned to GaLm and threw his hands in the air. Alpha's a fake, you know? I'm the real one. Oh, Jesus. What a load of crap. Beta's a fake. Everyone knows I'm the only real one around here. Their respective pleas given, the 3 statues returned to their frozen state as silence once again enveloped the city. When you consider all the statements, only one of them would be the real thing, said Weiss. GaLm furrowed his eyebrows and considered his answer. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. The false ones will only speak lies. They didn't really do much. Alpha claimed to be the real one. Gamma claimed to be the real one. Beta claimed to be the real one. All 3 of them claimed to be the real one. But Beta said that Alpha was lying. I don't have a clue. GaLm took a long look at the statues and tried to clear his mind. On the outskirts of the city, they discovered... Oh. It's repeating it. The real form will always speak the truth. They only spoke once. The false ones will only speak lies. And then Alpha just claimed I'm real. Beta claims Alpha's lying and a fake and saying that they're the real one. And then Gamma does the same thing. This is... Screw him! I'm going for Alpha. Only one is real? I'm gonna go for the one that claims to... that just is like, get me out of here, please. Alpha. The real one is Alpha. The eyes of the statue shone with an eerie light. The light grew stronger and stronger until GaLm and Weiss were forced to turn away.
It would seem we failed.
Yeah,
We'd best act more carefully next time.
this is the worst job ever.
And another
Guess we're gonna have to go back to the desert. I am so sorry about this. Just skip through all of it. At least this time we didn't die. Holy crap. Okay, the real one is... We're just gonna skip to Gamma. The real one is Gamma. The eyes of the statue shone with an eerie light. The light grew stronger and stronger until GaLm and Weiss were turned away. It was Beta? Son of a bitch! Okay, let's try Beta. Though GaLm's voice betrayed a notable lack of confidence, he was relieved to see Weiss's nodding at him. If Alpha were telling the truth, began Weiss in the dry tone of a lecturer, Beta and Gamma would be fakes. But in that case, Gamma's claim that Beta is a fake would be the truth, even though Gamma is a liar. Therefore, that theory crumbles. Now let us presume that Gamma spoke the truth. That makes Alpha and Beta liars. In this situation, however, Beta is calling Alpha a liar, which would leave us with two statues telling the truth. Finally, let us assume that Beta is telling the truth. If so, Alpha and Gamma's lies would make sense, therefore Beta must be real. As Weiss finished his explanation, Alpha and Gamma crumbled soundlessly into dust, while Beta sprang to life once more. "Congratulations, villager," said Weiss in a cheerful voice. "The time to awaken has arrived." "Thank you for saving me," cried the villager. He dropped to his knees and bowed his head as low as it could go before an uncomfortable GaLm pulled him to his feet. "Why'd you have a dream like this?" asked Weiss. "Have you been to the city before?" The villager looked around at the bizarre objects and sculptures that dotted the landscape, then shook his head. I don't think so. I mean, it's impossible, right? There's no way I would have been here to a place like this, but at the same time, I feel like I've seen it before." "Deja vu," muttered GaLm, just like the mayor. The vague sense of unease that struck GaLm during the mayor's dream spread once more through his mind.
That was rough.
I am positive I have seen that place before.
Okay, that's enough. Don't need you getting all weird on me too. Okay, there. Now all the villagers can wake up, right?
Yes, if the mayor's assumption was correct. I think I have had enough wordplay to last a lifetime. Thank you very much.
You're telling me. Anyway, let's go see the mayor.
Yeah, no, as intriguing as that was, working my way out of a riddle, and then having to skip my way through it all. Ooh. I'm good not having to do that again.
Oh, how wonderful. Thank you so much. Here, I have something for you.
The one-handed sword, Faith.
Wow, this looks valuable. I can really have it?
Of course. It's apparently a weapon of some renown, but we have little use for it.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you again for everything.
Okay, so hold on, let's take a look at the weapon. Faith. View details. Ooh. Oh wait, no. It's got 147 damage. A sword carried by the world's most loyal servant. Like that loyalty, the sword's blade is straight and true. Lily Leaf Sword. A narrow sword once owned by a woman of such impossible beauty that men begged her to take their lives. Oh, Jesus.
I simply cannot bear another of these infernal conversations. Let us save it for another time.
Talk! Oh, hello again. You know, I've been trying to figure out a way to thank you for saving me, and I think I've got it. We're gonna put up another statue of you. It'll be 10 feet high and made of pure gold. Oh, and I know you don't own a horse, but I think we'll put you on one anyway. Horses just make people look more heroic, you know? How's that? You don't want a statue? Oh, I thought you'd really enjoy it. God, I didn't expect to get put into another conversation like this. Regardless, thanks to your tireless efforts, our village is at peace once more, and at peace. Ha ha ha. That's a little agricultural joke right there. Anyways, I've been thinking about other things besides bad jokes and statues. I've also decided that we need to start holding the village festival again. We used to have it every year, but the last mayor thought it was old-fashioned or something, and he killed it. But since I'm the mayor, I can start it up again. That's not abusing my power or anything, is it? What's that? You want to hear about the festival? Well, the official name is the Feast of the 3 Days. We call it that because everyone sits around a huge table and eats for 3 days straight. No sleeping allowed. Oh, and we hold it on the foggiest days of the year, so it's hard to tell what you're eating. Some of the dishes are delicious, but some are really rare. And well, there's some weird stuff in them, let's leave it at that. Anyway, you'd be pretty surprised what you can eat when you haven't slept for a couple of days. I'll make sure that a room is prepared for you so you can be the guest of honor. What? You can't come? You have to wash your hair? Oh, alright. Well, I guess that's understandable, what with the adventuring and all. Truthfully, I think this town needs more group bonding activities like that. It'll help us get to know each other, and also promote unity in times of crisis and so forth. Weiss coughed loudly. How much longer must we bear the insufferable flapping of this fool's gums? He whispered to GaLm. Ah, let him talk. He just woke up. He probably has a lot he wants to say. Weiss sighed. This must be what Popula meant by bright and talkative. Okay, no, we're good. I'm gone. I'm done. Goodbye. We're leaving. Ugh. So much dialogue. So much text-based dialogue.
So how was the village?
Jesus fuck. Hi, Kaine.
Oh, it was truly magnificent. There are no words. Really.
Ha!
Neat. Let's get back to Popula. She'll probably want to know what's going on in there.
Yeah, Kaine. I feel like if you'd gotten stuck in one of the dream sequences with us, you would have made it a lot more lively. Oh no, baby shades. I don't want to deal with them. We're just moving on. We're gonna go see Popula, and the next little adventure we get sent on will take us to a place that won't be dealing with texts and dream states. I should check up on my harvest. It's been like an hour since we were last here. Fertilize. Bounty fertilizer. And then we will plant... Aw, man. Red moonflower seed. I don't think I need to get multiple of those. But I will do the same thing for all of these, just in case I can get multiple harvests. I should probably talk to Yonah too. I think we got a melon for her, finally. Actually, wait, I think we already talked to her about that. No, we haven't. That was the beef stew. Or, I don't remember.
I got your melon, Yonah.
Thanks.
If there's anything else you want, just let me know.
Well, since you offered, would you mind getting me a watermelon?
Oh my god.
Watermelon this time? Sure thing.
Didn't I already get
I'll
one?
be waiting.
Okay, I did not get a watermelon already. That's alright, we'll get one eventually.